I knew silver would do this. There's so many things affecting the price of silver nowadays, whether it's stock market volatility, whether it's the dollar index, whether it's the FOMC meeting, talking about interest rates, whether it's gold, whether it's economic uncertainty. But there's one thing that a lot of people overlook that affects the price of silver at a much greater level. Two words: price manipulation. Look, this is completely up to you. It's your choice. I post daily silver stacking videos. I'm also doing a silver giveaway. If you want a chance to win some silver, click subscribe. Entry videos in the description. May the luckiest stacker win. Now, silver battles to climb above $25 once again, illustrating underlying strength of support. Now, we know that the dollar is only going to last so long. It's lost 98% of its original purchasing power. Most of that as soon as we got rid of the gold standard in 1971. The dollar is not sustainable. It's actually designed to fail. It's like trying to get ourselves out of debt by replacing it with more debt. You know what that's like? It's like trying to pay off a credit card with another credit card, just hoping it doesn't catch up. Out of sight, out of mind. That's not realistic. It's going to bite us in the butt. And it's looking like it already is starting to, especially since the USD is the world's reserve currency. That's very alarming, folks. That's only one of the reasons why we should invest into something that has intrinsic value, though. There's so many other reasons why. I could name 10 reasons why to invest into silver, and I can name 10 reasons why not to invest into stocks. But anyways, let's look at this article. Silver has once again strived to climb above $25 an ounce after briefly dipping below that threshold. There is a lot of, and I mean a lot of, support at $25. Let's look at the 6-month chart, the 3-month chart, the 1-month chart. Every time we get around this $24, $25 level, it bounces back. Now, it's looking like silver might be starting to find its place at this $25 level. A lot of people were saying silver could be going back down into the teens. I don't think so. Personally, I don't think so. It's possible, but something extremely interesting happened last week. It did a technical golden cross, and last time it did that, the following month, silver jumped 60%. Is that going to happen again? Who knows? There's so many things pushing and pulling the price of silver, and then when you incorporate price manipulation, which we'll get into in a second, it's all up in the air. That's why forecasts and predictions, you got to take it with a grain of salt, because the unknown variables are the things that people always overlook, and it's what's always going to throw them off. You can look at the charts and the history all you want, but the patterns are never the same. Yes, history repeats itself, but in a different manner every single time, especially looking at the crazy world that we live in today. Now, there is another article that explains more about this dollar situation. Silver rebounds as the dollar moves to multi-week lows. The dollar index and silver have a direct negative correlation. When the dollar index is high, gold and silver is low, and vice versa. Why are they polar opposites? Because the dollar is worthless, backed by nothing. Gold and silver is money, backed by itself. No matter who says that 1-ounce coin is worth what is irrelevant, because the value is the 1 ounce inside of it, not the price tag attached to it. That's the big difference, folks. A lot of people can't differentiate the fact that this coin, whatever the price tag is, it doesn't matter. That's just in that specific period of time that coin is going for. But an ounce of silver will always have an ounce of silver inside of it, no matter who says what. And the person that says what, it doesn't make sense. It makes no sense. It doesn't even have to comply with the laws of nature, and that's why premiums are actually the real price they're going to have to pay. Yes, spot price might say $25 can buy this coin, but you cannot buy this coin for $25, more like $40. So is spot price even relevant? No. So silver failed to settle below the support at $24.70 and is testing the resistance at the 20 EMA. Now, silver is moving higher while gold is testing the resistance at 1935. We've seen the gold to silver ratio lowering. We actually saw it as high as 125 to 1 in March of 2020. Silver was $11 That same year, gold broke past $2,000, the highest price gold has ever been. Throughout the 5,000 years, gold has been deemed as, as a value. We saw history. We also saw other history. The gold to silver ratio hitting 125 to 1 meant that silver was the cheapest compared to gold it's ever been throughout the last 5,000 years. 125 to 1, when back in the day it used to be 2.5 to 1. 2.5 parts silver equals 1 part gold. Then it was 8 to 1 because that's the ratio it comes out of the ground. And then it was 16 to 1 as gold became more royal. Then in 1930, FDR got in office and changed the gold to silver ratio from 16 to 1 to 75 to 1, single-handedly devaluing silver. That's a little glimpse into why silver is so undervalued. It's man manipulated. If we were going to be literal, silver should be more valuable than gold because it's used for so many more things and it's so much more essential. Silver literally makes the world go round. Gold is used for necklaces, earrings, watches, jewelry. Yes, there's gold in electronics. I used to scrap gold out of cell phones myself, but most gold is used for jewelry. Most silver is used for everything else, solar panels, electric vehicles, all that. So when you're just trying to look rationally at something, you got to look rationally at it, right? The US dollar is under strong pressure, which is bullish for precious metals. A successful test of the resistance at the 20 EMA will push silver towards the next resistance at 25.30. Do you think that when silver breaks through the $26 range, it will get up to 27, 28? Now, obviously, there's a lot of different factors that have to, I guess, fall into play. But I think that right now we're at such an interesting point in the dollar is and just everything happening in the economy that if a couple of the right things fall into place, we could see $30 silver within a couple of months, especially since we had that technical golden cross last week, which the following month pushed silver up 60%. Now, will it push 60%? Probably not, but it is likely, and it could even do 30% or 20. Whatever the case is, we could be seeing a nice little rally happening. But the unknown variable, and one of the most important unknown variables is price manipulation. Do you know what spoofing is? Spoofing is when major banks, JP Morgan, Merrill Lynch, the Dutch bank, JP Morgan as the major master manipulator, the evil villain of precious metals, the shadiest company in the world, the shadiest bank. Let me break it down. Spoofing is when a bank goes on an exchange. On an exchange, they put millions of dollars into buy silver or sell or whatever. Sell order, buy order. So a lot of volume goes into the exchange because there's a huge buy order coming in. But then they'll cancel the order before it goes through. So that volume, all of that money never actually existed. And the other people on that exchange see all that volatility or all the volume thinking that that's real. So then other people invest off of or make their own choices, whether it's buying, selling, trading, whatever, off of that fake value, those numbers. Spoofing is extremely illegal, but the hardest part about this is you're allowed to cancel orders. So how can you catch someone doing it with ill intent, with the thought of already canceling it before they even clicked buy or sell? That's the hardest part about it. You have to look deep into it, but JP Morgan has gotten caught so many times. 3 of their employees got sent to prison for this last year. They're paying up to $1 billion fines for this. I'm so happy that judges are finally starting to crack down, because when I first started covering price manipulation, rigging, probably in 2017, 2018, they weren't doing anything. It was a slap on the wrist. But I remember the year, I think it was probably around 2019, when they came out and said, we're starting to crack down more on this. This is not okay. And when they first had that $900 million fine, we were like, okay, here we go. And then 3 of their employees got sent to prison. Now, is spoofing always going to go on? Yes. Anywhere there's money involved, people are going to be doing shady, corrupt stuff behind the scenes. But if you're an employee and you know that you actually might get sent to prison, that might make you second guess a little bit. Now, there's other banks doing it, but JP Morgan got caught going back decades. They're doing investigations going back decades. And it's not just price manipulation. We're talking racketeering. One of their employees got sent to jail for. It's insane. It's insane. So I asked my co-host on the Silver Stacking podcast, Investing with TJ, I asked him, yo, you're the charts guy. He's becoming a chartered financial analyst, like extremely smart. He's the numbers guy. He could break down the CPI data and he's a genius when it comes to that stuff. I'm not. That's the opposite of me. I'm the silver stacker. I'm going to tell you about how to stack and your strategy and certain coins. That's me. When it comes to data and all that, that's not me. So I asked him, to what degree do you think spoofing or this price manipulation or rigging affects the price? And he said something that makes a lot of sense. He says it does affect the price, but in smaller intervals. It might affect the price for maybe a couple of weeks, but then the price neutralizes back out with the dollar index and everything else that affects the price of silver. But then we both agreed on the fact that scarcity, the fact that there's a major silver shortage, is going to have such a big pull on the price that spoofing won't even be able to catch up. Same with the dollar index. The dollar index, the shortage, those types of things are going to have the biggest pull on silver. Yes, other things could pull the price, but it's going to naturally push towards other factors that have a bigger influence on the price, which makes a lot of sense. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. I just wanted to talk a little bit about what silver's doing right now, how I knew this would happen, and at the end of the day, we know where this all is going to lead to. We know the aftermath already. It's kind of like we're time travelers going back. Like the people that said, oh man, I wish I can go buy Bitcoin when it was, $1,000. That's us right now, because we already know silver is worth way more than this, and we know it will be worth even more someday. We're in before the curve. Most people are going to get in after the curve, after it's already exploded and everyone's talking about it. But we know something before everyone else, so let's take advantage of that. Thanks for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. See you guys soon.